was really interesting because a lot of my primary, like my first network circle, that was an easy one to just tap on their shoulder and start doing some work for them. But I have to say, out of the 10 companies I've owned, someone just told me the other day, one of my advisors told me this is actually a business too, because I didn't think of
Yeah.
this being a business, but I guess I've got 3 employees now, and I guess this is a business. Of the last 10 companies I've owned, this has been by far the hardest to market and get traction on. Outside of my primary network of people who already knew me, it was very hard to break outside of that. And why? Some of my past companies, it was easy to convey and sell that transformation. So like for my painting company, house painting, it's easy to show a before and after of the transformation of their home. I had an exotic bullion company. It was easy to show certified fine purities and beautiful designs. I also had a mix on-site concrete. We had engineers that certified that our concrete was excellent, and we could sell the fact that it was no waste, just enough on-site. So those were easy to sell. Whereas with us, what am I really selling? It's this elusive concept of freedom. And it was tough because I found myself sometimes being compared to a weekend warrior, someone who took a coaching course for a weekend and had no business experience, and I was being compared to that at first. So that was a really tough thing for me. And how do I fit the value builder framework and use it to get someone to understand that A, I know what I'm doing, and B, we've got an excellent framework before they cross that money line. And I can elaborate on that if you want.
I would love it if you could, because I think that it's something that's really unique. Like I've never actually had somebody share it this way. So please keep going. Yeah.
So when I say the money line, it's once the customer actually reaches for their credit card. And so there's a point where once they hit that line, then you've established some trust and their willingness to actually work with you. And so I play with a whole bunch of different things. And one of them, what I would do is I thought, okay, you know what? I'll attempt a longer sales cycle where I'll do a little bit of discovery, do a more elaborate proposal. And ultimately, I found myself going down this path of free consulting. And I think I got that term from John Newenberg in his Rocket Launch series. And what free consulting means, I would do a lot of this work, and sometimes some of these clients would be like, can you be more specific on your proposal? And I found myself putting in hours and laying out the framework. And finally, one of my prospects, at least they were honest enough to say, okay, now we know what to do. We'll call you if we have problems.
Yeah. Yeah. And then at that point, you're like, but my time, what? Can I get a cookie at least? Yeah.
Exactly. And so the challenge when you're approaching that is that the work that we actually do as like an advisor or consultant, depending on how involved you get with your clients, in other words, like what is expected of us as an advisor from the clients, that work doesn't actually happen until like many stages into the engagement. So like the fixing of the pain or the issues that are causing those direct pain points in their business, that doesn't happen until a couple stages later. And so what is a precursor stage to that is, number one, a bit of an awareness and a mindset shift that needs to happen in their minds in order for us to even be effective. And so if I can go fix a leak here on the hose, but there's an issue down or upstream that's causing the holes in the hose, it doesn't matter. I can just be sitting there plugging holes all day until the next hole just gets punctured again. And
Yeah.
that's, what I essentially started to figure out, okay, I need to get them to figure out that they're not seeing this the right way. They're causing some of the problems that are causing them the pain, but I need to get them to get there without just doing all this free consulting either, if that
Yeah,
makes
it's almost like you're just giving them, like you're pushing different prescription medication in order to just solve symptoms, but you're not solving the underlying disease. And they're like, okay, great, I'm sleeping better now. Yeah, I gave you a sleeping pill. I didn't solve the underlying problem that you have. Okay, so it's an interesting thing. You're hired by these guys, right? By these business owners in order to solve a problem. But what is it that you're actually like you're hired to fix these issues, but you're saying like, I got to help you with something else beforehand.